We are back once again. This time we are working on my not so berry mint generation household. I just built them a new save, right? Because their last one got corrupted. Woohoo, we love it. So I was thinking now is the best time to move them into a new place. So this is in that neighborhood with Dina and Nina and Katrina and Dawn, and I think that those are the only people who are out here. So I added in some more townies, obviously, but we needed a house. I am building this off of a reference, and I'm going to try and include a clip in here, but the vibe that I'm going for is very much just matching the world, which I realize isn't necessarily my girl's style, but that's okay because it's going to be beautiful regardless. Unfortunately, this build did take me an extremely long time. When I say long, I mean like it took me 5 hours to build this entire thing. But lucky for you, you don't have to wait 5 hours for me to build this entire thing. You can just watch it happen in a short time period. However, even when I sped it up super fast, it's still gonna be long. So unfortunately, I'm not voicing over this entire thing. At some point, y'all are just gonna have to sit there in some music silence and enjoy it. Because do you really want to listen to me yap for that long? No, I don't think so. Really, I'm gonna run out of things to say, and we're just gonna be talking about the most dumb thing in the planet. Anyways, I figured I would take this time to kind of talk about where we're at right now while I'm still talking. So right now, Sage and Ciera, oh my god, I remembered her name. Y'all clap for me. Anyways, Sage and Ciera are currently, they just got engaged. Like just got engaged. I might actually have to cheat that back because I don't know if that was in the part where I lost it all, or if that was something that actually stayed. So we'll see. So from here on out, my goal is really to get them married because I want to have babies. I'm so ready to start the next generation. I feel like I've been saying this for so long, and I keep on realizing that we're not even at the point to get married. I'm feeling like we might just full on elope because that would be the fastest point from us getting from A to B, you know? And so because of that, I'm building this house with a whole bunch of extra rooms in theory because we're going to have kids to fill them at some point. So the entire upstairs right now is gonna be undone. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. I'm not building rooms for kids that don't even fully exist yet. That doesn't make any sense. Also, that little gazebo thing that I'm building in the backyard, yeah, I totally get rid of that at a later point because it just didn't make any sense. It was so cute in like Sims 2. It's just not doing it in Sims 4. Sorry. It's because the stairs. There was no way to put the stairs there, you see? Doesn't look good. So it was gonna go. No, and if you like building like me, my main thing is I just go on Pinterest and I find the cutest little build that I can possibly find, and then I take that and I decide that that is what I'm going to build off of. The issue is that why is Pinterest 99% AI at this point? I don't want to look at all of this AI stuff. I'm looking for all these references. It's all AI generated. Please give me something that's not AI generated. I promise you I'll treat it right if you just give me some non-AI crap. I promise. At this point, I'm looking for suggestions. So if y'all have ideas that are not just Pinterest and Pinterest AI, let me know. Because that's been my go-to for so long for building. And I wouldn't mind switching at this point, you know? I really wouldn't mind. I just can't handle it anymore. But I really like building according to what world my Sims are living in. So, you know, it's a little bit hard. I don't live in this area of the United States where they have all of these like trees and what is this, like Arizona or whatever? I don't live in Arizona. Actually, I went to Arizona last year. I went to Arizona with my dad and my son, my older one. And we went to the Grand Canyon. Well, that's not in Arizona. Well, is it in Arizona? It's partially in Arizona, right? That was why I was in Arizona. Yeah, I think so. Anyways, I went there. I went to a whole bunch of other different canyons in Utah. And it was cold. Y'all didn't tell me. It's cold out there. I was expecting that it was going to be nice. It was going to be a little bit balmy maybe because it's Arizona. I'm sorry. Since when is Arizona cold? So here I am in Arizona wearing, long sleeve shirt, wearing long sleeve whatever. And I go to the canyon. I'm freezing my little butt off. I had a vest. I came prepared. My dad was like, oh, it's going to be a little bit cold. You know what? I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's totally fine. Let me just pull up a vest. That would be fine. No, the vest was not enough. It was not enough. And I did not appreciate that. So Arizona, y'all got to warn people ahead of time that it's like that. And matter of fact, that there was snow on the ground in places. There wasn't even snow where I live on the ground. And that's why. This was like November. No, it wasn't even November yet. It was October. It was the beginning of October. Also, mind you, the Grand Canyon is scary. That is scary. People live like that? That was so scary. I just looked down and it was just down, down, down. My dad was like, oh, I'm not afraid. I thought you weren't afraid of heights. I wasn't until I'm looking at something that I could literally just step off the edge and fly down a whole freaking mile. What do you mean? That's not safe. That's not safe and I don't want to do that. I don't like that. Actually, while I was there, I did take a couple of pictures of the houses that were around there because I was like, oh, this is cool. I feel like I don't build a lot of houses that look like this. Let me take a couple photos, click. And I did. Did I ever actually build those houses? No. Because the thing is, the real world specifications versus the sim specifications are very different. So building what exactly I wanted to convey in the Sims was a little bit hard. It was easier to do that kind of like, you know how you had those double wall windows in The Sims 2? It was easier to do that in The Sims 2. Why am I talking about The Sims 2 nonstop? It's because I haven't played in a while. I've been missing The Sims 2. I feel like at this point you could play a little game of like take a shot every single time I say Sims 2, and you might be drunk already. It's concerning. So let me drop The Sims 2. See, here I go again. But listen, I have saves in that game that I have not played in a while. I haven't played actually many of my saves in The Sims 4 in a hot minute because I just have not been playing. It's because school is trash. Why did I sign up for this? And here I am talking about what I'm going to do when I graduate, thinking about all the processes and the paths that I could go on. Why am I doing it again? But anyways, back to the build at hand. We just went over it a little bit ago, but I can't stand that they haven't fixed it so that I can put a fence and a roof in the same place. Why is that? Like, I didn't want that to be a half wall. I wanted it to be a fence. Also, this little window kit apparently is going to be my whole jam because I use it all over the house. It's so cute. I'm pretty sure that those are like the cabin ones. I don't remember who they're by. I really don't. In fact, at one point I was thinking, oh, like I'll make this, and then if you guys want, I'll put it up on my Patreon so that you guys can at least have all of the links. Or I was thinking I would like link it, all of the descriptions for the CC and the Patreon. I didn't realize how much work that was going to be because the 90% of this build is CC at this point. The windows are CC, the garage is CC. Most of the stuff that I put inside of the house is CC, including some of the flooring. Also, this little trick to make a garage is my absolute favorite thing. Not a garage, a driveway. I love making a driveway in The Sims 4. I just feel like it makes it so much more realistic because otherwise you just have the garage hanging up off the ground. And what sense does that make? None. Exactly. Not that we even have cars in the first place. But if you have CC, you can have cars, and you can technically get debug cars off of the gallery, which I've done before. It works just fine. So, but yeah, you just take a little roof piece and you put it on the ground, and then you just kind of like angle it. Of course, I did have to adjust how tall the house was because of it, but did I really care? No, not at all. And then I'm going to do some little planters in there. I thought that would be really cutesy just to add a little bit more dimension to the house because it is looking a little bland. We're going to spice it up later. I promise you. This is just kind of like when I do my rough draft of the house. before I go ahead and do everything more fancy, you know? Right now I'm just setting down the bones, and then we'll see my genius come into play afterwards. Don't make me sound so conceited. I promise you I'm really not that conceited. Also, my inability to figure out what door I wanted was crazy, because really, is it just that deep? No. And that one is so cute. So see, exactly. It wasn't really a big deal. Also, if you've been hearing my belly grumbling, no, you didn't. You have no clue what you're hearing. Obviously, that's not my belly. Right now, I'm just laying out like what rooms are actually what. So beds go in bedrooms. I think I ended up labeling one of those rooms as a bedroom and a bathroom, and then I completely changed what it actually ended up being later because I just didn't think it made sense to have 2 bedrooms on the ground floor when we literally don't even have anybody to put in a second bedroom yet. But I really did think that Sage, Jesus Christ, I already forgot her name. Sage deserved to have like a nice big bedroom, considering the bedroom in her last house was so absolutely tiny. So I did change it up. Instead of a bedroom, I made it into a little gym, which you can see. And then this is just a giant old space. It's crazy. Wow, my stomach's loud. I feel like interior dimensions is where The Sims really strays away from real life because it's just very hard. A lot of real life shaped things are not the same shape in The Sims. So also I felt like this indoor room just was again lacking dimension. It was just like one giant big old box. So I was trying to fit in doors, but then I was like, that's 3 doors in your entryway. Like you have to go through an archway to go through a door, then to go through another archway. So I just opened it up because what sense does that make? That's just a lot of arches just to walk into the house. Also, I felt like it gave the room a little bit less of that giant box feel instead of looking like that. I just mapped this up all upstairs, even though obviously, again, we're not going to be doing anything crazy with it. I tried to delete this, but it was just going to delete the entire floor, and I could not be bothered with dealing with rebuilding the entire first floor ceiling. That's just a mess. I can't stand when it does that. Like we've built the fence, right? Have we not built it well enough? Could we not just delete everything? No, apparently not. The Sims Sim does not appreciate that. Also, I realized that it wouldn't necessarily look right because part of the room over there is the office, so it would have looked better at a different point. Again, we're just kind of like mapping things out, so that's obviously going to be where my kitchen is. And then I made this genius idea where I was like, oh, like we could still put a wall in, it just doesn't have to be attached to that one specific part. And then this way, now there's more space so that it's very clear, like this is the living space versus this is our like entryway-ish area, and then you like branch off into all the separate rooms, you know? And if you're like, oh my god, hey, we're all of a sudden outside again, yeah, that's because this is a whole new day. Because this build took me forever and I couldn't just do it all in one go. So I had to stop. I came back again with my little fresh brain and was like, all right, well, now what are we doing? And normally I leave all of the really extremely tedious things that I absolutely hate, like the outside, until the very end. And then it ends up taking me significantly longer to actually finish the build because I actually hate landscaping. Landscaping is the bane of my existence. I cannot stand it. I think that it is absolutely pointless and that it should not exist. I think that somebody else should do the landscaping for me. So really I should have just downloaded a shell, but I wanted it to fit exactly how I wanted it to look. And then when you download a shell, it doesn't always do that, you know? But I wanted to make sure that the outside of this really matched. It gave it more character, because I feel like once you start to give the house a little bit more character, then all of a sudden it feels a little bit more enticing to go back through and build it all. So I went and put all these little, what are these even called? I don't know. If you know the technical term, let me know, because I don't. So I put all of them in there, and isn't this just satisfying? Watch it go. It just goes doop, 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 doop. See? That was one of my favorite parts of the entire build, is just putting all of those in there. After that, you know, it just all kind of comes together once the outside gets a little bit prettier. Oh, another thing I was thinking of when I was originally looking for designs for this house was building them a little courtyard in the middle of the house. I've always wanted to do that in The Sims. I get that that's more of like a Spanish design than a, American Mediterranean type of vibe, but a courtyard is so pretty. You can't tell me otherwise. I love a courtyard in the middle of the house, but I was thinking maybe I'll do that later on in a different build. Put like a courtyard in, but maybe like an apartment building surrounding. Because when I went to Spain one time, I was stayed in this place that had a courtyard in the middle of the building, and I just loved it. Like, you still had sunlight even when you were on the bottom floor, and there were all these buildings around you because you had the sunlight from the courtyard. I was trying to do this thing here where you built like steps into the pool. I didn't know that apparently you can't put water in a basement. So I did all of this work for nothing. For nothing. Also, part of my main goal of this build was to make sure that we got them to the same amount of, because right now Sage has one of those like goals. What are they called? They came with the life and death pack, to have a certain amount of money in her house, you know? Do you remember what I'm talking about? I remember what I'm talking about. I just don't know what I'm talking about at the same time. Okay, all right. Well, that kind of sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, that was my theory, was we get it to like a certain number, a certain cost. But while I was looking at it, I was looking at little shells because I love to get inspiration from other people's builds, obviously. I'm not a master builder. I just do this when I enjoy it, and I was enjoying it at this point. But yeah, I was really looking at other people's pool builds, like their landscaping, because again, landscaping, my weakness. I really hate it. So I was seeing people who are building with these rock fountain things, because I'm obsessed with them. They came with that pack, that kit that we got semi recently, and I have yet to use them because I haven't actually had a build that's had a pool in a hot minute. Well, that's not true, because I literally just added a pool into my Joy of Life house, but it wasn't really, like, it's not the same thing. So I was kind of looking at them for inspiration, adding in all of my little plants here, figuring out what's going to work best. And this little trick to put the plants up on top of the rocks, I feel like gives the rocks a little bit more life, Also, there was an update during the time where I was building this, and I just refused to update my game because I couldn't. Obviously, my mods were not all updated. And then Better Build By was not updated. So I really could not update the game at that point, because what was I going to do? I need Tool. I need Better Build By. Well, I need Better Build By as much as I absolutely require Tool in order to survive. All of these things just would not work well if I didn't have Tool in them. Especially when it comes to cluttering. Cluttering is virtually impossible without Tool, in my opinion. Like, the amount that you need to get things high up is very hard. I guess I could just I do have like the OMSP shelf or whatever it is. I just don't like it, because then you have to turn it on and then off. I don't appreciate that. I don't want a reminder. I want to just be able to do it right away. But yeah, in my opinion, the hardest part about landscaping is the fact that you really have to get that to match what the outside looks like. Because this, like, you see all of that stuff around the side, I couldn't find some of the things that were there. So I just kind of gave up at some point and was like, all right, well, I'm going to have to do my own thing at some point anyways. But now that I've finally finished this, I'm so excited to get back into playing with Natto Berry again. I feel like I've been missing them. I've been missing getting to play on my own time and not just like during streams, because I feel like that's the only time that I've actually been playing is like while I'm streaming. And so we're gonna get some new Natto Berry updates semi soon. And listen, I'm saying soon, but it takes me so long to edit. I'm sorry, I hate editing. I don't know how other people do it, because I just do not have the ability to remember that I have to speak while I'm playing, right? I do, like, I remember to speak, but I'm also like, sometimes I talk about things and then I just stop in the middle of my words. It happens all the time. It is concerning how much it happens. And if you've watched my streams, then you probably know that at some point, I just lose that ability. But yeah, I did end up bringing this out because I felt like it looked a lot better like that than leaving it the way that it was. obviously that meant that we needed to add a couple more plants, but there's nothing wrong with a couple more plants. In fact, I'm feeling like because of the fact that Ciera has gotten into her little gardening vibe lately, it made more sense to have more plants around the house that kind of made it look a little bit more cute and manicured and whatever. Also, speaking of, you know how when we got seasons, they added in all this stuff into the world, like into the base game world of the like roller skating rinks or the ice skating rinks and the little like stands or whatever. Why did they not keep that up when New Worlds came out? Like, why is it that there are no New Worlds that have that? Because it really irks me, because I feel like it would be really cutesy to see those just hanging around in the other worlds. I feel like that's part of the reason why it makes them seem so empty. I feel like in general, I would just really appreciate it if they did more cross-pack stuff. You know what I mean? Do you get what I'm saying here? Like, if they added things into other worlds where if you don't have it, then you don't get it. But if you do, then you do get it. Does that make sense? Also, I feel like my most slept on tool when it comes to landscaping is 100% rocks. I forget about rocks. I forget that they exist every single time. Because they're not important most of the time. They're just kind of there a little bit. But yeah, I tried to make a conscious decision to actually add in some rocks here and make it look like they belong or whatever. I don't know. You know, just a couple of rocks here and there made a little bit of difference. You know what I mean? I thought that it did, but you never really know. In my opinion, it made it look a little bit better. But yeah, see, this is exactly why editing is such a pain in the ass for me, because I cannot figure out how to stop talking about random things in the middle of while I'm talking about something else. And so therefore I just kind of trail off in the middle of a sentence, and then I forget everything that I was saying before. And then eventually I come back to it like 30 minutes later, but then I've already clipped it because I'm like, okay, girl, well, it's been 30 minutes since we brought this up. Are we really going to talk about it again? No. Anyways, now that I've been yapping for about 20 straight minutes, I'm going to let you guys go. I'll put on a little bit of music for you so that you can enjoy that. And if you did like this build and you do really, really want to see everything that I have done, like as far as I've added the CC for it and like all of that stuff, I can add it to Patreon. You just have to let me know, okay? Because it's a lot of work compiling those lists, and I have no problem with doing it. It's just, you know, I don't want to do it if nobody's actually interested, because I'm sure that the amount of CC that's in here is insane. I'll even drop the little tray files if you are all that interested. Okay, anyways, that is all. Love you. Bye.
game. It's a rich thing.
Anyways, I completely lied. I am here back once again. Sorry if I jump scared you, but I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a tour of what we ended up doing on this beautiful house. Obviously, we've got our entryway. I'm not sure about that wall. If you guys hate it, let me know. I'll change it. I'll change the color. I just thought that maybe some little space of color might be helpful there. Can you tell that I'm losing my voice? Anyways, that is Sage's little gemology room. I felt like having her own little space for that was definitely helpful because she had one in the last place that we were living in anyways. We have our little dining room, living room combo. Again, like obviously because it is mint gen, I kept it extremely minty. I wanted to go over the top with the mint. I'm loving the kitchen. The kitchen is actually one of my favoriteest rooms because I spent so much time cluttering it. I love cluttering kitchens. It's my best place. It's my best work. We've got our main bedroom through here. I think it is obviously very mint, very over the top kind of mint, but I just wanted it to be extremely mint colored. We've got the bathroom. You know, I loved the idea of having both the shower and the little soaker tub. It's such luxury, and I feel like she's at that point where she deserves that amount of luxury. Over here, we have our garage. We've got the car in there. Is it functional? No. Is it pretty? Yes. So we kept it. I did end up adding washer dryer. Am I going to keep it in terms of gameplay? I'm not entirely sure. I might switch those over to deco versions at some point, but we'll see. We've got our little guest bathroom, so many angles of that living room, and through here is our study. Again, super minty. I love the little accent wall because I feel like it was just kind of lacking in color, I do have to say. And then we've got our little space for, what was that cat's name to begin with? I don't even remember. Minnie? Yeah, it was Minnie. We've got our little workout space because I feel like they deserve it. I think that Sage has kind of been getting a lot into fitness. In the outdoors, I do think that I forgot like maybe one or two things out here, but those will take me like about 3 seconds to add in. I wanted to keep in line with the last house where we had an outdoor space for entertaining guests. Obviously, we have the pool, so we're going to be throwing some pool parties. We got the little bar over there, a grill. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye.